nerds and nerdettes and wee little nerdlings all. It's your buddy Big Johnny G, the Two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming. What's up? It is Monday, it is midday, and it's time for another monologue. I want to talk to you about something that's current at the moment. At least it should be if I drop this video on time. And that is the Ides of March, or in this case, the Ides of Meeples. Now, I've been doing a lot of talking about different types of games. Now, this is a little bit different. I'm not necessarily presenting this as a building up of your shelf, but I do want to talk to you today about backstabbing games. What you think of them in general, and specifically put in the comments below. Maybe there's one that you specifically downright hate and loathe. On the other hand, maybe there's one you absolutely adore and love. I'm going to talk to you about a few of them and what I think about them and the mechanics of them, and it'll probably give you some pretty good ideas on some of the game titles if you're looking for backstabbing, take-that style games. I'm your buddy Big Giant G, and I'll see you all down at the table. Backstabbing. It's a concept as old as backs, quite honestly. Yeah. Beware the Ides of March. Et tu, Brute? There's also a great tradition in board games for backstabbing. Now, there are a few different categories of games that very easily fall into the whole backstabbing aspect of playing, games that feed into it. I want to just talk to you about a few of these games in particular and concepts and ideas specifically, because if you're looking for a fun backstabbing game, whether to celebrate the Ides of March with or any day, because a good backstabbing isn't expected. Right? They may expect to be stabbed in the back in the Ides of March, but maybe not on June 13th. So, there's a couple of different approaches that you can have towards a take-that style game. I think one of them would be take-that style games. Two popular styles of take-that style games can be found in semi-cooperative as well as competitive style games. Semi-cooperative, you could see it as like the Munchkin style games, a game where only one of the players at the table is able to win, but you're all allowed to help each other. In fact, you might not even make it to the end without help. And in these style games, as you're climbing up the ladder to success, to the needed victory points or level or whatever it is in that game's particular scenario that you need to win, you're going to encounter things that you're not going to be able to defeat. But you're going to be able to ask for help in these games. Usually comes at a price, right? Usually some of the treasure or whatever rewards there are to be gained. Now, in a game like Munchkin, you can't share leveling up. So even if you're fighting a creature that's worth 2 levels, you can't share one of them. A treasure you always can. But you can't always rely. Because sure, people don't mind helping you out, because they're hoping that they're buying a favor back. And in most cases they are, because at the lower levels of games like this, you do need that help, right? But when you get to the top, near the end, victory is in your grasp. That's when they're all going to turn on you. But this concept isn't limited to just the more semi cooperative style games. Full-on competitive games where there is no interaction between the players in a positive sense, such as Red Dragon Inn, are games that are also excellent for that whole backstabbing ability. In fact, games like that are pretty much all revolved around taking advantage, stabbing someone in the back, or kicking them while they're down. From turn to turn, all these games are sorts of attacks, but not necessarily attacks that are always going to be just damaging your opponent and taking them out. They're going to be attacks that are going to be damaging their ability to do things in the game. Oh, you've been really good using that ability. Well, let me do this and that'll cancel that. For good or temporarily or whatever. Take that. In a sense, that's stabbing someone in the back as well. And you know, when you take advantage of someone, in a game, in a sense where you know what they want, and you don't need it, but you block them from getting it. This is a concept that works really well when you want to backstab people, and it comes to us mainly from area control and worker placement style games. Because in these games, you have certain tasks that you need to accomplish. So you're going to have to send workers out, right? These worker meeples in most cases, to go acquire places, to go be at places that will acquire you the goods or the individuals, the skills, the talents that you need to accomplish what you're going to do. And as long as you have your worker there, in most cases, others can't go there. So you're blocking them out. And again, this comes down to a case of knowing what someone may want and just putting a worker there to mess with them, to take something away from them. You see what they want and you swipe it out from under them. And you know, when I think of games like this, things like Tiny Epic Tactics comes to mind, or that's a great example for a fantasy game. Superhero games such as Born to Serve definitely fall under that category. But also, you might not think about it, but a lot of the conquest style games like Risk or Age of Conan, because you're taking over the places that you know the opponent needs to take over. Generally speaking, you want to take over as much as you can, but you might not always want to go take over this particular land over another one, but you're going to because you know that your opponent wants to encroach upon it. And that, in a sense, is just take that and a backstab in the opponent because you didn't need it. You could have gone somewhere else, maybe even an easier target, but you chose it just to mess with them. There are other games too. Games of hidden movement. You see, games of hidden movement and hidden identities are really great backstabbing games because they don't know it's coming. More than any other game, they don't know it's coming because they didn't know you were an enemy. I absolutely love the hidden traitor aspect to games. I think it's probably my favorite tabletop adventure to play out that has the backstabbing style in it. You know, games like Battlestar Galactica, based on the reboot of the series, is considered one of the best and most classic. Maybe arguably along with Shadows over Camelot. Now, the big difference between these two is Shadows over Camelot, there may or may not be a betrayer. See, in this takes the volume up to 11 because there may not be a betrayer, but you don't know it. So you're going to be thinking to yourself the entire game, one of these other people around the table may be ready to stab me in the back. And there is also a slight variation on that I enjoy, that I call the fifth player shift. And this comes to us from games like Spectre Ops, where if you have 4 players, then it's going to be 3 versus 1. But if you have a 5th player in the game, then it's going to be 2 versus 3, but the 3 think that it's 4 versus 1. They don't know that there's a traitor on their side. They think they're just hunting a hidden movement character. But someone on their side, well, someone on their side's a traitor. I think that the biggest shock value for a backstabbing style game is from Avalon Hill. And that's their classic Betrayal at House on the Hill. Or also their Dungeons and Dragons reskin of it, Betrayal at Baldur's Gate. These are games where there is always going to be a betrayer. Well, I think there's one or two scenarios in House on the Hill that there is no betrayer, and there's a couple in Baldur's Gate. But generally speaking, there is always going to be a betrayer. But at the start of the game, none of the players know who it is. In fact, you don't even know if it's you, because the traitor isn't revealed till halfway through the game under certain circumstances. And then you find out who the traitor has been. So this way, it builds up a whole sense of total trust, because up until that point, you literally have to all work together, because you don't know if you're helping save someone that will end up saving you or helping you later. It is a true team effort in every sense of the way until that twist at the end. And that's when they get you. Whether it's a fantasy-based game or a sci-fi-based game, you can find a lot of choices for backstabbing styles of games. Brute. I hope that you've enjoyed this thought about backstabbing with the Ides of March right here with us. I'm your buddy Big Johnny G for Two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming, my friends. I am out of here.